Okay, I'm calling this series Raw Encounters, and the word raw spelled backward is war. I have not had any contact with war myself personally, but I have met individuals over the years that have who claim to have been in war, but not necessarily killing. However, I did come across someone. I was in the grocery store and I was shopping. This was not a planned meeting or anything like that. And I had on my head like a ball cap that had some military type things on it. It was not something that I bought, but someone gave it to me as a gift. And so a gentleman spotted me with that hat and he said, "Hey, I want to talk to you." And before I could get anything out, because I wanted to tell him, first of all, I've never been in the military, and second of all, I've never been in war, but he wanted to talk to me immediately. And he began to tell me how he was in the Gulf War, and he began to tell me about a, quote, firefight that was really terrible, and that somehow he had survived it, and others did not. And because he survived this firefight, he was given a medal. And I'm like, okay, whatever, I'm trying to be polite, and I don't, I certainly don't want to be rude or anything at all, and try to maintain a lot of respect. And I do anytime I meet someone that has on a cap or something. In fact, I'm very interested and I want to talk to them. But in this case, I was just walking down the aisle in the grocery store and he flagged me down. And he wanted to tell me something. I couldn't get anything out, which is a little suspicious right there. So after telling me he survived this firefight, he told me that he was awarded a special medal. And I thought, well, okay, that's good, I'm not. And then he said, "Here it is." And he pulled it out of his pocket. Now, I have to be honest with you and say that I thought the medal looked, quote, genuine. All right? People can walk around with fake medals, and people who maybe are mentally ill or whatever can do this kind of thing. But as far as he was fit and trim, he looked like a military person that had been discharged. Everything seemed to fit, so I'm not doubting his credentials or necessarily his story in that sense, that he was genuinely in military and he did get, quote, a medal. But the strange thing about it was that he had it in his pocket. Now trust me, I've been around folks that were awarded medal in World War II, and even men that have been awarded medal in Korea. And I want to tell you something, none of them carried these medals in their pocket to the grocery store. As I told you, he's completely unknown to me. This is a complete, total surprise to me in the grocery store. He said, here, take a look at it. Well, I'll be honest with you, in a way, I really didn't want to touch it because, it belongs to him and it's very special. And, I'm not like that. I don't just say, "Oh, let me see it," and put it in my hand. He, in a way, shoved it into my hand. So now I'm standing in a grocery store with this medal from Gulf War shoved in my hand. And that's what I want to talk to you about. That once it was shoved in my hand, there was kind of a strange experience. And the strange experience was sort of in two dimensions. The first dimension was I felt a little bit of a power, okay? Almost like an electrical type of a shock like you get when you walk on a carpet and you touch metal. And then I wasn't hearing literal voices, but in my mind I was sort of repeating these words: believe everything he says, believe everything he says. He's telling you the truth. Believe everything he says. And I was sort of overcome by the experience and by this man. And he wasn't in a hurry to get the medal back. And then, of course, I thanked him for sharing with me and all that. I was very polite. I didn't, I wasn't about to disprove anybody or start a fight or an argument or anything. I just wanted to get my grocery shopping done. And I have to admit, this is one of the strangest raw stories I might tell. But after that encounter, I knew that I had encountered more than just a man with a medal. That something peculiar was going on. So I'm going to suggest that what I was experiencing was a form of witchcraft, which is called sorcery. And objects can be empowered. And through the use of these objects, the hoax-lie system can be made, quote, real. Now, I'm not trying to put anyone down that has been awarded a medal, and I'm not trying to knock anything except to tell you my experience and my thoughts. So when I left the store, I was a little bit bewildered by it all, and I didn't really have much chance to reflect. But once I discovered that the whole system is hoax-lie, I believed that my encounter was an encounter of sorcery, and that this is the way the one who runs the system tries to make it real in people's minds through objects. And there are many, many other objects that can be used in this classification of sorcery. So I'm going to end this video, and I want to thank you for listening, and I do appreciate you staying in there with me. And I'm only trying to tell my raw encounters in life. End of video.